Hare Krishna. Previously we were discussing on me and Krishna. Now we will go to our next level, that is me and my home, by taking our fifth step, that is sacred space. Create a space of retreat and reflection. We have heard people saying that life was much simpler when apples and blackberries were just fruits. Every day, an estimated 400 billion emails are sent by 2.5 billion internet users. Every day, 750,000 television sets are sold. 190 billion pounds is spent on video games and 550 million newspapers are circulated. Every day, 9 million pounds is spent on healthcare, 8 billion on public education, and 6 billion pounds on military and defense. The complexity of modern civilization forces us to complicate our own lives in order to survive. We are a far cry from the rural villages of bygone ages, where people moved much slower and spiritual culture was woven into the fabric of day-to-day life. So, how can we gain spiritual inspiration today? Where can we go to reflect and introspect? Where is there respite from the bustling madness? Well, there is no place like home, especially if you make it into a temple. In Sanskrit, a temple is known as a mandir, a place which helps the mind become steady and peaceful. Most of us cannot live in actual temples and often find it difficult to even visit regularly. Therefore, it is essential that we transfer our homes into a sanctuary where we can reflect, refocus, and rejuvenate. Being at home should aid our remembrance of Krishna. Keeping the home clean, tidy, and uncluttered always makes the mind become peaceful. We can also set a special altar which becomes the central hub of our spiritual activity. This sacred space can inspire our devotion, especially if we beautify it with pictures, incense, candles, and flowers. And rising in the morning, one can visit the altar and offer respect. Our food can be offered to Krishna, can be placed on the altar. The family can come closer for chanting, reading, and discussion in the science of devotion. It will help to prepare ourselves, and it is a place where we return for shelter and reflection. We can certainly put pictures of Krishna on the altar, but devotees also try to develop a sweet and personal relationship within by inviting the deity into their homes. Vedic scriptures explain that God can reside in marble, metal, or wood if he is invited and worshipped according to prescription. Some people doubt that God can appear in this way. To them it seems limiting, imaginary, and childish to treat God like a doll by dressing and feeding him. However, whoever enters this kind of transcendental exchange can personally experience a deep and direct reciprocation. The deity is not simply a representation or an icon, but an actual manifestation of the divine personality. How can you set up an altar in your home? Setting up an altar in home means receiving the Lord and his pure devotees as your most honored guest. In the Padma Purana, Lord Krishna says, I am not in Vaikuntha, the spiritual world, nor in the heart of the yogis. I stay where my devotees glorifies my activity. This means we all have the opportunity to welcome Krishna into our home. What was possible 5,000 years ago is possible even now. Where should you set up the altar? The ideal place will be a clean, well lit, and free from household disturbances. If possible, you could set up your altar in a separate room dedicated to Krishna. If not, then a wall shelf, a bookcase, or a table will be a suitable place for an altar. What do you need to set up on your altar? There are three essential things. First, a picture of Srila Prabhupada. Second, a picture of Lord Chaitanya and his associate. And third, a picture of Radha and Krishna. The first person we worship on altar is spiritual master. Our spiritual master is not God, but because he is Krishna's dearmost servant and representative, he deserves the same respect as that is given to God. We owe an immense gratitude for Srila Prabhupada's books, lectures and his life teaching, bringing us closer to Krishna. And he is the founding guide of International Society for Krishna Consciousness and the instructing Guru for all of us. The second picture should be of Lord Chaitanya and his four associates, Panchatattva. Lord Chaitanya is the incarnation of God in this age. He is Krishna himself, descended in the form of a devotee to teach us how to surrender to God. Lord Chaitanya is the most merciful incarnation, for he makes it easy for everyone to attain love of God through the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. And of course, your altar should have the picture of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, with his eternal consort, Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani is Krishna's pleasure potency. She is Krishna's most beloved devotee, and anyone who takes shelter of her can learn how to serve Krishna the best. You can arrange the picture in a triangle with a picture of Srila Prabhupada on the left and a picture of Lord Chaitanya and his associates on the right. And picture of Radha and Krishna should be slightly larger and higher than the others and placed in the center. You can perform daily worship at the altar by offering such items like incense, water, fruits and cooked foods. You can perform your daily spiritual activities like chanting, reading, singing, etc. in front of the altar. As we become established in our Bhakti Yoga practices, we can invite Krishna into our homes in the medium of his deity form by acquiring and worshipping stone, metal or wooden deity. We create new opportunity for service and deepen our personal connection with Krishna. However, we should worship this form with caution. Srila Prabhupada wrote to one disciple, "Never think of deity as made of stone or wood. Every worshipper must remember that Krishna is personally present. He is simply kindly presenting himself before us in a way so that we can honor him. That is his mercy. Otherwise, he is unapproachable."
And why do we have to worship the deity since the Yuga Dharma is chanting Hare Krishna? So Jiva Goswami says, because of the fickle mind of the devotee, Archana Marga is often recommended, along with Bhagavata Marga, to engage all the senses of the devotee in deity worship, along with the chanting of the name. So we never give up the chanting of the name. Deity worship is an assistant to that. And if we don't chant the name, then we can't even do deity worship. It's not proper. So we have to chant the name, but it's a good assistant. Why? Because by doing deity worship, we engage all of our senses. So we can serve and do so many things for the deity other than just chanting. Huh? So if one can be fixed in chanting, fine, he does not need any other thing. But usually people are not so fixed, so therefore they require some other activities, so let them do deity seva. Huh? So the two things go very well together. Both are mentioned as as important angas in the nectar of devotion. We have 5 very important elements. One is chanting the name, the other is deity worship, the other is hearing Bhagavatam, living in the holy Dham and associating with devotees.